7:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our first order of business are to approve the minutes of the Mayor and Council meeting of March 16th,
I would
2015.
move that the minutes for March 16th be approved as submitted.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show that we unanimously passed the minutes.
Do we do anything with this arts and entertainment thing? We don't have to approve those. And then it says, that was the meeting we had before the meeting.
Oh, we should, yes. I forgot to put them on there.
All right, well, I
The public
would also
hearing.
move that we accept the minutes for the arts and entertainment district meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
I haven't read them because
You
I
weren't
didn't.
here?
I was here, but I didn't think they were on the agenda tonight, so I didn't check them over. Can we do it next time?
They came in the emails.
Yeah, I know.
Anybody, do you want a second? And you didn't get it either.
I didn't get them.
You didn't get them either?
All
got
right,
'em.
why don't we move that to our next
Okay.
meeting?
We'll move
That's
it to the
fine.
next.
All right. Our next item on the agenda is the payment of bills.
Move, bills be paid as submitted.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, moving right along. We actually have an addition to the agenda, so I apologize in advance for those of you who are looking at the agenda. We have a couple of guests from the State Highway Administration. And apparently this was set up a long time ago, and for whatever reason, it just didn't make it on the agenda. So Bill, could you clarify
The
who these
town,
folks
the
are?
town council, at the request of our Washington Avenue associations, we sent letters to the District 2 engineer and to Melinda Peters asking for help. I think that Jeff Wentz and maybe Tom Ravel, no, Larry Gridlin had met with the people from WANA. And so 6 weeks ago, they agreed to come to this meeting, and they're here tonight to talk about the things that we might be able to do, the grants that we might be eligible for. Jeffrey and Tom, you want to come up? The mic is on. If either one of you want to talk preliminarily about the sort of categories we're in. And thank you so much for making time to be with us.
Thanks, Bill. My name's Tom Ravel. I'm the Assistant District Engineer for Project Development for the State Highway District 2. Work here in the Chestertown office. And I wanted to talk about not necessarily what we're going to do, but come to solicit some input from the community through task force. And we've worked with the task force on other projects, and in this manner it becomes the town's project, not SHA's project. It's not us coming in saying this is what we're going to do. We want to work in partnership with the town to determine what the needs are, what the priorities are along Washington Avenue. We have various funding sources, and I can tell you about the first one. It's called Fund 84, or the Urban Reconstruction Program. This is a very comprehensive, a lot of people call it the Streetscape Program. It encompasses all the elements of paving, sidewalk, drainage, amenities,
Traffic calming.
traffic calming, things like that. That is a very competitive program with a set amount of funds. Back in 2000, we led the state in the number of these types of projects. And in 2002, that program, almost wholesale, was put on indefinite hold. Then we led the state in the number of projects on hold. Unfortunately, recently we got 3 projects back in design that were ready for design because we'd gone through the task force process and we knew what the scope of work was going to be. If we wanted to pursue that, I can't guarantee that we'll get a project anytime in the next maybe 5 to 7 years because it is very competitive. And we have to go through the task force and then compete statewide for design money, and then compete statewide for construction funding. What we are doing in other towns and what we're doing recently in Port Deposit is we're attacking a piecemeal. We're developing, and we have a drainage project funded in Port Deposit now. We're going to spend over $2 million in drainage, and then we'll come back when that project is complete and do a paving project in ADA compliance, upgrade the sidewalks. We developed a comprehensive scope through a task force in that town. We determined what their priorities were and what their needs were. So I'm throwing that out there as a suggestion. We have various funding pots that we can do sidewalk with. We have a Fund 79 program, it's called Retrofit Sidewalk. and SHA provides the design and the construction. This fills gaps. It doesn't reconstruct existing, it fills gaps in sidewalk. We look for local participation from the local government in the form of right-of-way maintenance agreement, and I think both of those are covered in your charter, your town charter. It allows the town the ability to construct sidewalk and puts the maintenance back on the property owner. And we also ask for public outreach, and of course, we're able to assist with public meetings, just to make
So,
sure.
just to be clear, you're suggesting that we create our own task force in Chestertown to study what the community feels is needed in terms of upgrades to Washington Avenue?
Along with SHA, we'll facilitate.
Would you be at the task force
Yes.
meetings? Okay.
I'll be facilitating personally.
Good.
I'll be facilitating the task force meetings. We'll bring in people from our landscape architecture, from our highway hydraulics, from traffic, all of our support divisions to investigate the feasibility. If the town wants a certain thing on a project, we'll investigate the feasibility of that
Okay.
and let you know what the issues, environmental concerns. We'll be handling the design, permits, and managing the project from beginning design to construction. We also have a Fund 33 sidewalk program, and that's reconstruction of existing sidewalks. And that would bring all sidewalk up to ADA compliance wherever feasible. It doesn't mean we take down houses or significant trees. We don't take down buildings. If we have a retaining wall, we can't widen it to 5 feet. We can get a waiver on a side-by-side basis. It doesn't mean we're gonna just take a straight shot at 5-foot sidewalk. We'll bring existing sidewalk up to compliance. Widening your sidewalk is in compliance, what you have now.
So what's the difference between the previous one you mentioned, Fund 79?
79 is new sidewalk. It's,
I
yes,
thought you called it retrofitting.
yes, retrofit sidewalk.
Oh,
That's the name of the program.
okay.
But it creates new sidewalk where
New
sidewalk
sidewalk.
doesn't exist. We have several projects in design now for retrofit sidewalk.
Okay.
Fund 33 is reconstruction. of
Gotcha.
existing.
Sort of.
We also have a Fund 74 program, which is a statewide drainage program, and that focuses strictly on drainage. If you need new storm drain systems or storm drains upgraded, that's the one that we go after.
That sidewalk program, it must front a state highway.
Yes,
We have several places where we could use some sidewalks.
as long as it's along the state highway, we can consider it.
Not,
But not like on Campus Avenue, which
If it's not a state highway, no, it's not eligible.
we'll give it to you. You'll put a sidewalk in.
How much money is in this Fund 79? And how competitive are we talking about?
I don't know what the statewide total is. We do have several projects in design that are moving towards construction. Most of our projects right now in design are Cecil County, Charlestown, Elton, and Chesapeake City, we're doing some sidewalk. We also have area-wide contracts that are doing the sidewalk, the reconstruction. They're not single locations, they're part of an area-wide. And our innovative contracting division gets the locations from us. They come to the district and ask, what are your priorities? And we give them a list of projects. So if the town has locations, we'll ask the town to submit a request in writing, and we can forward that to our innovative contracting division.
So if we need a sidewalk along Flatland Road, then this is the fund that would potentially do that, correct?
The state ground. Flatland Road, state ground. Correct.
Okay. So how come Cecil County seems to be getting all the
They've been
funds?
proactive in making requests. The towns, the small towns up there have been proactive in asking for sidewalks.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing you saying is the streetscape program basically gets rated a lot and it's very unreliable for funding stream
Very
and
expensive projects as well.
it's super hyper competitive. So if you had to prioritize which way to go, what I'm hearing, I think I'm hearing you say is it's better to just go for these
Pieces.
other pieces of funding. Let's say we requested a sidewalk retrofit, what would be like a realistic time frame for design?
About a year for design. We'll do a feasibility study first and then come back, and if the town's willing to participate for the right way, the maintenance and public outreach,
What do you mean by public outreach?
public meetings, it's like what we're doing right now.
Okay,
And
okay.
we'll help facilitate that
Right.
too. We'll come out with displays and we want the property, make sure the property owners know
Yeah,
about the project that's coming out.
okay.
But I think as far as getting funding, we can get it faster through like funding
Right.
spots. And if we design streetscapes usually takes about 2 years to design, then we've got to compete statewide for construction.
If we're creating a task force and you're running the meeting, how does that work? Do you say, hey, let's look at a Google Earth image of this road and everybody just tell me what you think we need to do? Or do you have a list of items that you would kind of lead us in the direction that you think we need to go? Or-
We have a format that we've used in the past, and we look at certain elements, and because the town, the elements are drainage and traffic calming and speed, and safety. Obviously, safety is the number one factor. Sidewalk connectivity, and add to the town what their issues are, and really getting input from the town what the issues are and where they are. And somewhere along the task force process, we'll walk along the project with the task force.
Good idea.
What about safe routes to school? Are you done? Are there more? The safe routes to school program we use in that area, Campus Avenue, Brown Street, we did all the 5-foot wide sidewalk there. Very successful, and we have school.
Those would probably be some alternatives if you're looking for something off the state highway system. Safe routes to school could provide you with sidewalk money if you're looking for something on campus. I was also thinking possibly a transportation alternatives program. That might be another type of fund that is available for sidewalks along campus and town streets like that.
Well, I mean, we find and we know that those are routes to, those safe routes to school involve Washington Avenue. Kids walk down Washington Avenue, cross.
So you're looking for additional funding sources for Washington Avenue itself then? Okay.
Just to go, we've done several miles of retrofit sidewalk, and that was when 4-foot sidewalks were okay. Now it's 5-foot, and more handicap access issues.
Yeah, that's a little bit different requirements, because when you start using those, the town's gonna do the brunt of the work as far as the design, hire the contractor and everything like that. So if we're gonna go along Washington Avenue, it'd probably be better off if we were to do it, because we have more direct control of it. Whereas on the other thing, you'd have to apply for a grant and justify it. and
Yeah, it was
lot
a
of
pretty
work.
lengthy thing, but it did get the school board involved, and it was, in that manner, it was successful. Because kids, I guess, would go from the elementary school to the middle school, or vice versa.
And that, as far as this program goes, the programs that we're proposing here, that would be used as further justification, which might move further up into the rankings to help get the funding a lot quicker. So
Okay.
those are some of the comments that are important to us, and that's why we're looking for the task force type meeting.
The
Do you
task,
have-
I'm sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Do you have a town-wide task force that discusses sidewalks for the entire town, or do you have multiple task force from multiple areas and sections in town?
We don't have a task force in place with Chestertown at this time. In other towns that we've worked in, Queenstown, we did a little streetscape project on Delrose Avenue. We had a task force, we had one task force. Same in other towns.
Okay.
Work in Port Deposit, we had a task force. We asked for 10 to 15 people. We don't get that many. That come to the task force meetings, it might be 8 or 10 people that come to the task force meetings, and they usually take place over a period of 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
Every other month, we go back and do background
Okay.
information, we get payment recommendations.
So what I'm hearing you say is you have a town-wide task force
Yeah,
then?
we'd like to get a good cross-section of the residents and
Okay.
businesses.
But it's only for state roads,
Correct. Well,
which is
Doesn't have
what?
to be people that
It's
are all.
Washington Avenue,
Ross-
Maple, Washington,
right.
Flatland,
Flatland, right.
Morganac. I
Mhm.
mean, what else? What other state roads are there?
Lost.
Cross Street.
Right. And ultimately, I have flatland in mind.
Yeah.
So having a town-wide task force, like you said, to discuss all of these different projects, Washington Avenue, flatland, I was just making sure
Yeah.
that we could lump all of the projects
I think you'd like
together.
to work on a comprehensive plan for all the state routes in Chester.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yep. Good.
Be a good idea. It would help us connect up with our rail trails too. We have several legs of those in.
And I didn't mention Fund 77, that's the resurfacing program. That's exactly what it is, resurfacing of the roadways.
Good name.
There.
A few years back, we did resurface 213, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And about 2 years ago, we did what we call level 2 ADA upgrade. In other words, we upgraded the handicap ramps at all the intersections. We're required to do that whenever we resurface a roadway, either immediately before or within a period of time after we resurface, we have to upgrade the ramps. A level 1 is just patching sidewalk, level 2 is upgrading all the ramps, level 3 is complete replacement. We've done some amenities, however, we want you to identify what else we need.
Hey, Tom, what's the official stance? Is the stance of the state highway still that speed cameras have to be immediately adjacent to a school on a state route? Now, that is different than the state law. Why do you always cling to that?
Well, the way the state law was revised maybe 2 years ago, and they're trying to make it a little bit more clear, is that it was a segment of roadway approaching in front of or past the school. Then they gave some examples, which kind of made it less clear. But basically, they referred back to that the state highway shall develop a policy, and that's what the policy was. That the state highway says that it's the roadway immediately in front of the school.
Because I see it as solving a lot of problems and this is what we hear from Washington Avenue all the time, that there's chronic speeding, and we have the 2 schools on either side. We're within a half a mile like we're supposed to be with both. When we did this, we drew circles, and we thought we had the whole town covered. And I haven't read this, what you said in the changes. I read the thing the other day. Maybe I don't have the latest, but
Colleges aren't considered schools?
No, actually, they're the institutions of higher learning are not part of the law. Prince George's County actually had a special amendment that addressed just Prince George's County. It basically covers the University of Maryland, and they're permitted to use speed cameras within the University of Maryland. But that's the only one that's considered an institution of higher learning that's eligible for the cameras.
So they had to get their legislator to go out there and pass a
Right.
separate bill for them.
Right, exactly.
Well, I just wish that it's something that could be considered, because 12 miles over the speed limit to me answers all questions. That people are getting photo cameras, no points, they're getting their ticket, and eventually they slow down. And anyway, I'm just throwing it out while you guys are here. Didn't mean to heat you.
Is this part of the highway user money, or is it completely separate?
This would be separate. This is funding that's available at state highway. The highway user revenue that you're talking about is money that would be converted back to the town to spend on safety projects. So, this is totally separate from that.
Okay.
Part of our allocation.
So to summarize, you're recommending that we form a task force, you lead the meetings with our residents to get input on various things that we'd like to see done on state roads, and then you can lead us to the proper pods of money that you think will be the most expedient to address the issues. So if we put a task force together within a month or 2, are you guys ready to get going?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That would be wonderful.
And Joe, did you have something you want to say?
I was going to ask the same question.
Okay. Thanks.
And any suggestions on how to move our projects up in terms of priority? Because whatever these Cecil County towns can do, Chestertown can do better, so.
In Cecil County, they kind of have a champion, since they now have a form of government that has a county executive,
I see,
and that's their champion.
Right.
She's been helping out a lot to pull some of these projects together.
okay.
So, yeah, that's one of the things, like Howard said.
These projects helps get the funding.
Good, okay.
All right, well, looks like we need to start a task force and get back to you. Did you have another question?
No, I was going to say, I'm curious, which roads in Chesapeake City other than 213? 'Cause you haven't-
286 and 285.
Is that going out to Bethel?
It's,
Reconstructing
Biddle
sidewalks.
Street, Biddle Street.
Biddle
was
Street.
recently done. 386, I forget what that's actually called, Second Street.
Is that on the north and south
It's on the
side?
south side.
Okay,
And then it goes down by the big restaurant down there.
okay.
That's, we're looking to do that, right by the town hall and stuff.
Right. They're short streets.
Yes, they are short streets, yes.
Any other questions?
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is maybe a little bit mislabeled, because I don't think Briggs Cunningham is here.
If you wish, Mayor, I'll take that up, what my
Okay.
research has under my report, so you can get down to Gail and the other visitors.
Joe, why don't you just go?
Okay.
Go ahead. So we're going to go to the town manager's report.
We had a couple of people ask us late to be on the agenda, more or less, promote things. Gail Owings was one of them. Gail, would you like to come up? I'll put you under my report because I don't think we heard about this till like Thursday or so. It's always nice to see you though.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Gail Owens. I'm the Executive Director of the Stories of the Chesapeake Heritage Area, and I'm here to tell you that we are going gangbusters. And I just want to give you an update of what we've been doing over the past year, and to thank you for your support. Thank you for the support letters you've written to us, and thank you for your financial support. You have our propaganda in front of you. We've tried to come up with some creative ways to deal with rack cards, because everybody picks them up and then half the time they throw them away. So we had a thought that if we had a rack card that was a recipe card, that people would pick it up, they would keep it. So you get recipe cards on one side, they are promoting our local restaurants, and on the back side, you get a little history. And these are the first 4 that we did. They've been so popular, we had to do a second printing. And we will have another set of 4 coming out this year, one that represents each county, and each year there'll be a different sort of history story that will fit on the back of the recipe card, and to try to get people to come. We have our calendar that features vintage photos from the 4 counties, and vintage can be defined any way you want it to be, depending on how old you happen to be. And we are soliciting photographs for next year's calendar, which the theme for that is the tastiest catch. And the tastiest catch is anything doing with water. The winners are featured on our calendar. Everybody's photographs that are submitted get put on posters, and they travel around the heritage area as part of our exhibit. We've been attending different trade shows and different shows, mostly, the Waterfowl Festival, the Chicken Festival, and those sort of things to help promote what's going on. And it's interesting, on our pop-up banner, the kind of bottom part of it is the view coming across the Chester River. And when I was at the Waterfowl Festival, the number of people that came through wanted to know where that was. So Chestertown got a huge boost at the Waterfowl Festival just because of that photograph. We have helped bring over $450,000 in grants to organizations in Chestertown. Last year, in our heritage area as a whole, 4 of the top 6 applications statewide came from our heritage area. One of them was here in Chestertown for the Sultana Education Center. We've also brought some small grants for the Chestertown Tea Festival. The Wardley buildings received some small grants. The GAR halls received grants. The Prince Theaters received grants. So we're trying to bring as many grants as we can to our area, and we have 2 cycles, one of which you've just applied for. It's the MHAA cycle. The application was due on April the 4th, and that can be for programming grants up to $50,000 and capital grants up to $100,000. We have a second cycle that is for our mini grants, and those can be up to $2,000, and they're for things like rack cards, interpretive panels, programming sort of things, and those can be up to $2,000, and that application comes out in August, comes to us in October, and you usually get your funding in December, January. And it's just it's a seed money, short, simple projects. We've also started a lecture series and a workshop series that we're going to be holding. The first one we held last fall to try to help everybody be prepared for the MHAA grant cycle. We did a how to write a grant and how to manage a grant workshop down in St. Michael's at the Maritime Museum. We're hoping to do 3 workshops a year. The next one, we haven't have a date, and we don't really have a place yet, but we're hoping it's going to be on how to have an emergency plan for your museum or your organization. And the reason we decided to move that kind of up in our cycle is because the Maryland Historical Trust has set aside some funding from their Hurricane Sandy funds to help organizations deal with emergency planning. So we're hoping to have a workshop so that everybody will be up and ready to go to apply for that funding. We have our Heritage Hero program, and we are soliciting nominations for Heritage Heroes for this year. And those are people, organizations that have played an important role in promoting our heritage. Last year, the Bordley Museum received a Heritage Hero Award because they helped fulfill our goal in our management plan of having someplace in downtown Chestertown that's convenient, very visible, where you can come and act as sort of a wayfinding system. But other winners have been, there's Nancy Cook, I don't know if you know her, she's from Queen Anne's County, but she's kind of helped keep their historic consortium together. So we're soliciting those, and we're May 15th, so if anyone would like to nominate someone to be our Heritage Hero, we'd appreciate that, and that they will be receiving their awards and recognized at our annual event, which will be our 10th anniversary of being in existence on June 11th in Centerville. And that's all.
Can you get the application online?
It's actually not, the Heritage Heroes, it's not even an application. We wanted to make it simple, send a paragraph. This is who you want to nominate, and this is why.
The town, we're actually going to be creating, and I'm introducing it tonight, a marketing committee whose goal is, of course, going to be marketing Chestertown. Now, would we have access to some of these grant fundings that the organization sponsors when it comes to, you know, say for instance, marketing Tea Party or Downrigging Weekend? You know, would you be, I guess, favorable or look favorably upon an application for grants to do projects like that?
We would, if you were doing a brochure or something like that, yes.
Okay.
Yes, not necessarily to actually do an advertisement. One of the things, if you look in our calendar, the other item in our calendar is if we know when we go to print the date of the different events, they are listed on the calendar. So you can plan almost every weekend, starting about now until the middle of November. You can be doing some sort of heritage event in our area. And I did thank you for asking that question, because I was remiss. This year we're applying as a heritage area for 2 grants. One is our management grant that helps us exist, and the other is for a marketing grant from the Maryland Heritage Area Authority to do a Tasty's Catch campaign, marketing campaign that would help promote how you get on the water, where can you go crabbing, where can you see seafood, where can you learn about the Chesapeake Bay. And obviously Chestertown would be highly promoted within that.
So how do we, I guess, increase communication between your organization, the town, the county. I mean, one of our permanent positions on the marketing committee itself is going to be Bernadette from the tourism office. So we start to have some, I guess, synergy between the two bodies, because, you know, the county was doing their marketing, Chestertown's doing their marketing, you're doing your marketing. How do we kind of pull that all in together?
Bernadette's on our board.
Okay.
So that's the easy one. And our marketing is, we have a marketing committee, and it's essentially the 4 tourism directors plus a couple other people. So I think with Bernadette being on your board, it'll help pull it all, it will help pull it all together.
Okay.
And we can come back when we get more information about how the Tastiest Catch is going, because it's going to be a 2-year, we're asking for a 2-year grant, because we're figuring it's going to take about 6 months to get the brand developed. And within the grant that we wrote, we wanted to go to the Washington Trade Show, which is a huge, very expensive show to attend, so that we can work with everybody to do promotion in an area that, frankly, without this grant, I don't know if any of our areas could afford to go to this particular trade show. And it's thousands and thousands of people attend.
Okay.
One question I have is, do you have a funding request of the Mary Council this year?
Yes,
Is it the same as last year?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thanks.
thank you. And I also have a request for a letter in support of our grants.
Okay.
Where do you get the calendars?
You can get them from us. You can get them from, you can purchase them for a wee $10. We have a partnership with anyone who wishes to do it, any of our nonprofit partners, that, like the Historical Society was selling them for $15, they get to keep $5, we get to keep 10. Yeah, that's-
So I assume that we could just say that the mayor could sign the letter of support for their grant, for their overall grant application. Could we do that here?
I'd be happy to. Do we need a motion?
I move that the mayor sign a letter of support from the town, Chestertown, for the application for the MHAA grant for the,
Second.
you know what the rest
Okay,
is.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let the record show we unanimously endorse sending a letter of support.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Gil. Okay, Bill, keep it rolling.
Oh, next, David Bowery. Another one of those Thursday or Friday calls that we squeeze on the agenda tonight. You see, he wanted to speak for 2 minutes and no more, he said.
Let's
Oh,
see,
maybe I threw that in there.
It's ticking.
Oh, it's great. It's got those convincing leather things on it, like a
We'll give
professor.
you, I'll send you an electronic copy of the report, 61 pages, most of which are charts, about 4 pages of narrative. This is a kind of summary of my evaluation of the report. I'm going to briefly comment on that.
Thank you.
Mercifully. So Bill don't go after me.
No, you're
That report came from where?
I'll go through it. Well, it came from SHA. If you remember, when I was here the last time, I was describing a study that was
Right,
done.
yeah, I do. I thought that might be, but I thought maybe you did one on your own or something. What's the way?
Well, I did examine the data on my own and did arrive at some different conclusions now. Just to refresh your memory, when I was here the last time in November, residents of Washington Avenue had met with SHA and they'd about the problems on Washington Avenue, and they'd were sympathetic and they agreed to take a number of actions, and one of those actions was to conduct a vehicle speed and class study on Washington Avenue from Kent Street through to Kempton, to have a look at the problem that we were expressing. Speed, too many trucks, a lot of speed and what have you. And he did that. Took a while to get completed. And this report is the report from the analyst to SHA on the findings from that study. Excuse me. The study was done by Kittleson Associates, who are in Baltimore, but they didn't collect the data. The data was provided to them by SHA. The data was collected by a different group in Silver Spring. And in fact, there were 2 data collection periods. Those pneumatic tubes were out there in front of my house for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And there was then an interruption, and they were gone, and then they were out there again for a second period of time. However, I noticed from the report that only 1 week of contiguous data was actually analyzed in this report. So it kind of raises a question for me, but if you put that to one side, there's still some rather significant conclusions that you can draw from this study. Now, the report itself, when you look at it, what you take away from it if you just read the conclusions, which unfortunately is what most people do, you either read just the conclusions or the executive summary, then you'd come away with the impression that there isn't much of a speeding problem on the avenue that can't be handled, can't be tolerated, and there's only really a very small proportion of trucks that are traveling down that stretch. So perhaps the traffic concerns of the residents are not quite what they thought they were. However, the narrative itself in that report talks in relative terms, and rather than actual numbers. It uses percentages, averages, excuse me, percentiles, so on and so forth. And that, instead of the actual data itself, and that tends to obscure some of the real aspects of the problem. So I'd like to talk about that. We all know that statistics, I think everybody in this room knows that statistics, the same set of data and the same numbers can be made to look as though the glass is either half empty or half full, depending on how you cast the narrative. The authors of the report say that there is a small proportion of truck traffic daily. In fact, only 7% they say are heavy trucks. But by heavy trucks, what they mean are class 7 or above trucks. That's to say, tractor trailers, semis, very, very heavy truck traffic. What's not mentioned is what this 7% actually represents in terms of numbers. Now, the average daily total that they report is 13,800 vehicles. So 7% of that's 966. And most of these are between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. today. That means, like, if you use averages, an average of 80 heavy trucks per hour, give or take, up and down that avenue. That's a lot of extremely heavy trucks.
1.2 per minute.
In 2010,
It's 1 a minute.
in
Yeah.
2010, the Chester River Bridge feasibility study set the average daily total at 14,000 to 17,000. So that 14,000 at lower end is pretty much the same as were found in this study. Excuse me. But if we look at the high end, that's 1,200, excuse me, 1,200 trucks a day. That's a lot of heavy trucks. And that's not adding class 5 and 6 vehicles. Class 5 and 6 vehicles are also trucks, but they're single unit trucks, and they have 3 axles, and some of them 2. But they still carry heavy loads. but that's not reported. So if you added those in, you've got even more. And the problem is only going to get worse. The study I just mentioned says that by 2030, there's going to be 22,000 vehicles per day on that stretch of Washington Avenue. That's 1,500 heavy trucks, an increase of 60% over what it is today, and that's in 15 years. Now the next question is, where are they going? The studies that I looked at talk about the large proportion of those expressions are misleading. The majority of 51% is the majority, but there's still 49%. Say that it's local traffic, that these restrictions on trucks are not appropriate because they're serving clients locally in the town, and it would be a great inconvenience and need to service those customers. But I'd like to ask the question as where between the bridge and College Avenue are these customers? Even if they were local, all of those are outside and beyond the Mogneck Washington Avenue intersection, either going east or west or north. South, they're over the bridge on the other side of the bridge and further on down Charles County. Now the argument is placing restrictions on truck would mean they couldn't get to their customers. All of those kinds of customers are accessible via Mogneck Road. So if there were restrictions on certain kinds of heavy trucks and they had to travel a different route to get to their customers, they could still get to their customers. They just have to come down Mogneck Road because they're not going to anybody in the residential district between that we're talking about, residential neighborhood. So that's a question. Now, talking with SHA, what they've said they plan to do is a boots on the ground origin destination study. The original origin destination study in 2007 was what's called a license plate study. They capture license plates at various points and by the virtue of those determine where the trucks are going and so on. Boots on the ground study is one where they actually stop vehicles and survey the driver as to where they came from and where they're going to. And they tell me that that's not been done because the weather situation was such that it was not possible, not really appropriate to do that, and that now the weather is improving, that they're going to put that back onto a front burner. Whether that happens or not will remain to be seen. But I think definitely they showed interest. As far as speeding, let me just say one thing about speed in trucks. The one big shortcoming of this study is they don't relate speed classes to class of trucks. In other words, they haven't been able to tell us in the study, even though the data is there to do the analysis, what kind of speeds, let's say, that 7% of trucks are doing. Are these trucks, the culprits? Anyway, in the weekday, 50% of the traffic on that section are consistently over the speed limit. And this is consistent throughout the day. That means that somewhere in the region of 7,000 vehicles exceed the speed limit each day. There's about 40 vehicles per hour that are traveling at 10 miles per hour or more over the speed limit. That's an average of 40 an hour. And it's about the same north and south, by the way. And when I talk about average daily totals. I'm talking about both north and south directions. At the weekends, that percent goes up. 60% are over the speed limit. And they're also consistent throughout the day. And there's an average of 51 vehicles per hour that are traveling in excess of 10 miles per hour, or at or in excess of 10 miles per hour. So, my conclusion from looking at the actual data and not just reading the conclusions is that while the study has some limitations, it nevertheless does underscore that there is the problem that those of us that is obvious to those of us who are actually living on the avenue. We know the trucks are going by, and we know the house shakes. So I think that, in conclusion, this kind of situation, if it can be alleviated through whatever methods the SHA and ourselves can come to quieten traffic and to reduce the volume of these massive vehicles traveling up and down that avenue, we can improve the structural integrity of the houses. People who live there, almost everyone will tell you that there are occasions, many occasions, when the house shakes. The ground shakes from these vehicles. And 10 miles an hour over the speed limit may not seem very significant in terms of SHA's criteria of what's acceptable or not. But 10 miles an hour over a 25 per hour speed limit in the middle of a residential area is significant, I would suggest. So, what's the next step on this? As I said, there is planned a origin and destination study. As you know, things move at glacial speed. We just have to be persistent and stay with the program, not get discouraged. They have promised that they're going to have a meeting with us to discuss the results of this study. They're chewing around my observations now, and I believe that they will respond with a re-examination of the data regarding the speed of these trucks. What kind of, are they all at speed limit? Are they obeying the speed limit? Are they in excess of the speed limit? Is there more of it at night? Or etc. And as I say, I get the, as I said in my last meeting, I was, and in my conversation out there with the gentleman over here, they seem very supportive of trying to do something to address this issue and seem to consider it important. So that's all I have to say about that right now. I just want to make one closing comment, and it has to do with Bill's comment about the concentric circles and the speed cameras and how that, as you remember at that meeting, and Bill corrected me, and quite rightly so, I had indicated that, you know, it was, we would have to get, it was written into the law, and we would have to get some legislation to get a variance on that and so on and so forth. Bill pointed out to me that that wasn't the case, and that it presented that. So I took that back to them. And they had definitely said to me that it was in the legislation and their hands were tied. When I took it back to them, what they said was, it is an SHA policy. So I realized always have to keep on your toes and be careful about taking things at face value. And that's equally as true of this. So I was very happy you pointed that out, though.
Have you guys set a date with a follow-up meeting with the
No.
SHA officials?
No. I was actually trying to get hold of Larry Redline today but he's out in another county right now and he won't be back for another week. But I've emailed them, trying to get them to, close in on that meeting. Because as I said at my last presentation, I think it would be very important for the town to be represented there also. You have the richness of background and knowledge of what's gone on before, and ultimately, it's necessary for all of us to be in the same corner and to help move the town forward, enlist the help of the county commissioners and what have you. And there's a possibility that I may be making a similar presentation to the county commissioners, just to keep it on the front burner and in front of people's eyes. Well, thank you all.
Thank you, David.
So Mayor, I'll just continue my report.
Okay.
Briggs Cunningham, the Maryland Sun Foundation presentation. Really, this is a follow-up that I was asked by the council to check the references on the Community Power Network and Maryland Sun program, and I did. I talked to the city of Bowie, the city of College Park, and Rockville, Maryland. They described them as very helpful, very knowledgeable, and a great program that their electorate is happy with. They did a very thorough job. I also talked to Town Creek. They're on this side of the Bay Bridge. They funded their operations, or gave them grants to do this. So they put in. They said they're everything they've been asked to do. So I think that should they return, or we could send out word to them that this is a program that I think the council would get a lot of mileage out of participating in, with very low, if any, expenses, and a chance to help people out there that could use the help. So with your permission, I'll ask them back, and with that knowledge, I think we would decide at the next time that they're here that it's a go or not go, and get into the details.
Do we need to have them come back?
I don't think so. Are you here from them?
My name's Mary Hughes. I work with Grace, actually, and
Oh, thanks. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
No, it's fine. I wasn't actually expecting to have to say anything.
Well,
but-
I think that
If you have any final questions, I know Chestertown was the first town that they're looking at, and the sooner we can get this thing, the better. And so if you have any final questions that I can answer or relate to them, I can certainly.
I mean, my understanding is we're just kind of endorsing the concept, and we're providing meeting space and maybe helping a little bit with promotion
Yep, and
to
I
get
think
the word out.
You mentioned costs, and I don't think there will be any costs associated. And with Briggs and I working at the college, I know the college will be a good partner, and it's really just to say, hey, look, Chestertown is behind this, and here you go.
Yeah.
Well, I think that what I said before, that we can do that, and we can waive the building permit fees for the installation of solar panels, because we really never knew what to do with that other than to legitimize them when they went up, or make sure homeowner associations were okay with them. So I think the council could vote to go ahead with the proposal, and then they can return with the actual meetings here, whatever.
I'm happy to have us do that. I was the one who asked for you to get
Okay.
the
Let's have
references
them.
from towns where they had worked before, and you've done that, and they're good. So I don't see any reason to hold it up anymore.
I think a motion would be good.
So I'm happy to move that the mayor and council endorse the concept of creating a solar power co-op for homeowners here under, and I forget the exact name of
Community Power Network.
Community Power Network, and that we facilitate their meetings in whatever way we can.
Okay, is there a second?
Do we need to include that we'll waive the permit fees?
No.
I second.
You can if you want, but I mean,
All right, there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show we unanimously endorse the Community Power Network.
It will be the first town in the third quarter to see this, so if you-
That's how we roll. We set the trend.
another trend just got set.
So spread the word to Briggs, please, because I know he's, cool.
I'm going to skip the Alzheimer's walk. It's in October, okay, so I don't know how it got on the agenda. We went and returned with the edits to the comprehensive plan. I want to give everybody a copy of what went before the Planning Commission.
Oh, right. So these are inserts on the page.
These are the new inserts. Everything went smoothly. The Planning Commission was fine with them. And what we generally do after the Planning Commission has promulgated the comprehensive plan is you sign just a statement like this that you adopt what they submitted to you, and it goes in the front of the book. So the language is in, everything else is done. They've done a tremendous job over the last 3 years. I've read it myself. It's better in a lot of ways than any that we've ever done because of the graphics, the ability for it to convey the thoughts to the individual reading it. It doesn't put you to sleep as quickly as the old comprehensive.
I agree, I totally agree. It's much more readable. I have one comment. Will there be a final pass-through on indexing, the table of contents and the labels on the maps that are referred to in the text? The page numbers where they're referred to, they don't match up. There's several places I found where it'll refer to a map by a title and the titles aren't on the maps. And for example, here there's a reference to a comprehensive plan map on page 33 and it's not on page 33. It's a couple pages before.
I wonder if it got thrown off. The case was saying that if you add too many words, it throws the pagination off.
Sure. I mean, that's
But
exactly
that's-
what's happened, but somebody needs to go through the final version and,
Well, we'll
Fix
edit it, but basically it won't change the text. Do you have any
oh
objections?
no, the
with
text is,
adopting the text as it is, and then
Should we make a motion?
What were the specifics of the other two changes? Was there a change in the zoning on Mill Street?
I don't.
Street.
What is it? Does it state in here?
Not here.
No, there wasn't a change, it was an error on a map.
There's no.
There was
zoning.
no change in the zoning. Remember the map had, instead of having it as R5, it had it as RB on Mill Street?
Residential
That-
and
That's not
business.
That has nothing to do with
Yeah,
comp plan.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's
There
zoning,
were
that's
two,
not the
there were two
comprehensive
mapping
plan.
errors that they discussed maybe 2 months ago
Yeah.
on the zoning.
We all signed the new map.
Yeah. This is those two things, the WANA and the Washington College Rhizome thing, been inserted in with no objections, or at least the language they've agreed to. Here's the language, and it's time to move.
Do we need a motion to approve this new language?
Here's the submission. A motion to approve this comprehensive plan was adopted by the Mayor and Council on April 6, 2015, following a duly advertised public hearing in accordance with the code of the Town of Chestertown and Maryland Land Use article. That's the public hearing that was held by the Planning Commission. Was it joint with the Mayor and Council? It's not your Mayor and Council, your public hearing. It was their public hearing. It's similar to what's in the front of every comp plan. So they promulgate, you adopt.
So what do we need to do?
You need to make a motion to
Accept this language?
adopt it, yeah. Adopt their
All
submission.
right, is there a
For the whole
motion?
book.
And then we'll get a final copy.
Yep. And if you feel like you want to wait till you have the edited version, this is what you'll be signing when you do. So if you're, I think all the details have been worked out. If that's if you just want them to edit it so that the pagination's right, or you ready to do this, it makes...
Can we make a motion to accept it with the caveat that it's pending
Yes.
cases edits?
The staff will do the final. I mean, that's just technical.
Liz, I think maybe you should make the motion.
It's the third one tonight.
You're on a roll with this.
Usually there's a designated person that makes motions.
I guess I'm then moving. I move that the mayor and council adopt the revised Town of Chester comprehensive plan. Do I need to date it? I mean, is it the February 26, 2015, as amended? Jen?
To be further edited, to edit the...
Add the caveat.
Subject to
I have that on
pagination corrections and,
Okay, is there a second? Was that a second?
There's a whisper.
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let the record show we unanimously,
We signed this bill, it was in my comprehensive plan.
No, it's a new one. It's a new one coming around.
okay, we unanimously just adopted the comprehensive
dates
plan with the
filled
new
in on those.
language.
Yeah. What did you say, Mayor?
We've just unanimously
We'll need
voted
to
to
sign
adopt the
multiple.
comprehensive plan with the text edits,
Just a-
pending new pagination and editing.
I would like to hand out a preliminary budget enactment schedule.
Oh, good.
And everyone else. Generally, what we have to agree on is when that first workshop or preliminary, we now have a preliminary workshop and a regular workshop hearing. That's, I've scheduled it for the last Monday in the month because we have a new finance director. We're coming up to speed a little bit on revenues and where to find all the facts on predicting revenues. In the meantime, any council initiatives, special initiatives, requests for initiatives, bring them forward to me. I would
You
appreciate
need
that.
that in writing, or just?
No, just, so if there's something at the dog park, there's something on Flatland Road, anything that you want to get into this year's budget or try to. I will say that the state revenues are fairly static. They're not down, which is good news, but they're not up. The income tax ones do look like they're up and offset a little bit, so we're going to try to do everything we can do, and I'm sure you'll say, like you say every year, no new taxes, but anyway, that's where we are. Very, very preliminary, so.
This, what we want included, we could do that by email to you, so we have...
Yes, you can, or you can call me, or you can send word by your staff.
If you put it in an email, then we got it in writing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so you'd have proof that you told me.
When do we start seeing savings from
So,
the solar array that we construct soon? Is that for...
Okay, this is a good time to sort of tell you where we are. We submitted the interconnection agreement to Delmarva. It's got every account that the town is. We've seen the plans for the equipment that Solar City is going to use, and I've had it reviewed by someone who knows, and the equipment is high grade.
American made.
Yes. So I'm excited. We've had a lot of talks already with the county, and I want to segue into one other thing. I went out and got bids, or I got a bid from a surveyor that we use for expanding the town, annexing the Gateway Park and the lagoon, because if the lagoon was already annexed, we wouldn't be going through the county process to put the solar field in something less than 5 acres like we have to. But that's not a real issue. The cost for the meets and bounds for that whole area would be $2,800 for the lagoon and $800 for the Gateway Park, because we recently did that. We converted it into a meets and bounds, tie it into the old town boundaries. So if you want to think about that, I'll bring it up at the next meeting. I think that this would be a good thing to do. Not
agree.
comfortable with our lagoon being outside of our town. If we're going to put a giraffe there, I think we really
Gotta be.
really have to.
Gotta make
Grow
that
those
happen.
acacia trees.
So
So what you're saying is annexing both of those properties is only going to cost
That's the only hard cost we
$3,600.
have. I do all the write-up, we'll have to have a meeting ordinance, which is, it's called a resolution, but it's at least 15 pages long, and then all the things that we intend to provide to the areas, which are generally subdivisions. These aren't, so we don't have it. It's the responsibilities of the town. We don't have any. So it should go, and we'll have no objections to being annexed. So it should be pretty easy. So if you said, I don't like to spring things on you, but I was asked to get this. So if you said, hey, that seems reasonable, let's go ahead with it, I will.
We still need to have a hearing for people to come in to object to, when they're talking about a park and a water place.
Solar power plant.
Who's gonna object to that? Nobody there.
Oh, somebody will.
The county commissioners have to agree to us annexing the property in the town. They never do, because if it's a taxable situation, they would still get their taxes and the town would get theirs. There's not going to be a taxing situation here, but it just makes sense. And because we spent time to straighten out the boundaries of the Gateway Park, we're going to have a nice, clean annexation line all the way to the other end of town at Radcliffe Creek and to 289.
No,
Okay.
I'm all for that. I just don't understand why we have to have a meeting where people can come in to object to it. It's going to be no objection.
No, you have to pass, it's called a resolution, but you have to pass it like an ordinance. And you have
So
to
you have to-
advertise it 4 times in the paper consecutively, and you have to have your second hearing.
It'll be a short meeting, Marty.
No, we don't.
I would think so.
We can plan it on a night they're playing baseball.
Why do you,
Still get to see it.
you just mentioned, you said you wanted to come back to us to approve the surveying costs? Why can't we just do
You
that?
can do it now, I just...
I mean, you've got to have the survey.
Okay, if we want to approve these costs, do we need a motion, Franklin?
Yep. Liz?
Somebody look at it. Come on.
Come on, Sam, step up.
It's your ward, Sam.
It's in your ward.
Sam,
Yeah, one of
It's true,
them.
it's true. I move that we accept the surveying cost of $3,600 for the annexation of Gateway Park and the Lagoon property.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed?
Can I just come back to the budget
Oh, yeah.
schedule? You sort of segued quickly.
But budget schedule, the April 27th, is that a date that everybody can make?
It's fine.
Yeah.
April 20, it can be any day that week, it's an off week. It doesn't have to be a Monday. It just, people get into that
Yeah,
rut.
I need to be in the routine or I'm going to be there.
Is it okay? Okay?
May 4th, are we going to go straight from 5 right through town council meeting?
We usually do.
Okay, just
There's usually
planning.
a big argument about salaries, and then we go right into their meeting. But you get free pizza.
As long as the pizza's flowing.
There we go.
Okay.
And can I assume that you're going to be picked up on things like the salaries for the
Yes.
A&E
Yeah.
person? Yeah, okay. Just,
Yeah, I know about the initiatives that we've discussed publicly, and we're going to try to make it work. So,
Good.
and I have for everyone, the Kent County Community Marching Band sent you each a pair of tickets to their cocktail party on April 25th. So here's your letter and your coupons. Your wife or significant other, or husband or significant other. Next. There's some confusion about when this Earth Day rail trail cleanup is going to be. It's on one publication that's on the town website as April 11th, and it's also I've been planning with the Chestertown Runners for the 18th, which is really Earth Day, but it may end up being both days, and I don't want to throw a wet blanket on anything. So the trail really needs cleanup. It's just a matter of our logistical support with our vehicles and truck. On Earth Day, we're going to take the hazardous materials and stuff that if we're finished at 12, we can take it to the county by 2 o'clock when they close. So that was more convenient. But I think, both will work. And Ruth, do you know anything more than I know? I don't really know where the 11 started from, but we were hearing about it, so we'll get that straight. Do you have a preferred date for you?
No, I just didn't want it to interfere with the run or use of the organizers for the trail. And I also wanted to get the word out.
Is there a run? When's the run?
I thought there was one.
See, there's a lot, there's things that we're not doing that are being done, but we're not being told. So we just have to get it straight and we'll get the word out the best we can. Okay? I don't know, there isn't a run, is there?
It's that morning, I think.
Well,
There is, I thought it
the
was
runners are
the
gonna run.
runners who were doing the cleanup.
Yeah, the
not a
runners were
run
gonna run and then
itself.
clean up, and then break from that and clean up. That was all scheduled for the 18th, but it doesn't matter.
Sorry, excuse me, but is there any conflict with Thursday afternoons?
No, it's supposed to be congruous, it's supposed to be congruous with it, you know?
I think they'll find it not near as bad. The first year was terrible.
Yeah.
The second year was not so bad at all, and hopefully this year will
Well,
be
Mark-
better than that.
Mark Hampton is so cooperative, he said he can go to the 11th or the 18th. He wants to, he's heading up the runners. He just has to get the word out to his 30 or 40 runners. I was gonna run that day, but I've decided not to. Want to get into the cleanup effort a little bit more.
Good call.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're not gonna run, then you can help clean up.
That was, okay. And Sam, do you want me to go into this a little bit right now, or would you like to save it for your report?
We can do it now.
I'm going to pass out something that Sam wrote, and it's very good. It gives a purpose of his marketing committee and what the terms, the membership, and what they plan to do. He asked me to either make it into an ordinance or a resolution, and I went back through the establishment of commissions, committees, and I think it's perfect to be a resolution. There's a couple of details that needed to be added. His purpose would be the mission statement. I have copies if anybody in the audience would like it. And I think he's pointing towards the funding part of the budget. That's sort of his deadline. But this is really well written, well thought out, and we'll make it into a resolution for the next meeting. And I think it should have a time period on it, maybe 5 years or whatever, because committees aren't supposed to be forever. They're supposed to have a mission or a goal. If you someday want to make it into a commission, just remember one thing. To be on a commission, you have to be from Chestertown. The freedom that you get with a committee is you can have out-of-town people help, and
Is there any objection to having a committee and then renewing the committee?
No, none at all. It can be done by another.
That's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. He's really thought it out well, and I'll have that ready at the next meeting. Y'all, please read it. It won't be a lot different. It'll just be formatted a bit differently.
Can you send it electronically to us, Sam?
Good job, Sam.
I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to my report. I really don't have a whole lot to say, believe it or not. The one thing I will say is that, just out of curiosity, I sent an email to Dennis Silicato, who's one of the 3 owners of Washington Square, just because it looked like the Redners is really coming along, and they've done a lot of paving in the parking lot. If you haven't been there, you should check it out.
Couldn't get in or out today, everything was
It's really coming together nicely, and he gave me a tentative, and I'm going to emphasize tentative, grand opening date for Redner's of May 13th, which is just a little more than a month, so...
What day of the week is it? I got a calendar.
I don't know.
I don't, you know,
Thursday.
All I know
a
is my
Wednesday.
schedule is miraculously somehow free that day, so if it's delayed, I'll let you guys know, but that should be an exciting day, because when that opens, they're basically repaving the entire parking lot. It's gonna be pretty amazing to have 2 really revamped centers with 2 nice, anchor businesses in each one. For the first time in a while.
Isn't Verizon supposed to build a store?
Verizon is at the planning commission with a small store right opposite McDonald's at the entrance on the vast town stationer's lot there, which almost was an AutoZone a few years ago.
So they
This is
would
much
leave
more-
the Kent Square then?
I guess that's the same sort of, there's a difference between a true Verizon store and that store is not
Not from
Verizon.
real, even though
So,
it's called
not
that.
sure really yet. well, it'd be nice if it was.
Are they replacing the town stationers or?
Oh, no. that-
New building.
That lot was made for, what was the restaurant called? The Great Big Ponderosa or something?
Some steakhouse.
And it was built to have that, people eating there day and night. Too many spaces.
All right.
May the 13th is a Wednesday, by the way.
Yes, thanks. So that's good news, and we'll just keep our fingers crossed that it comes in on schedule, because that's really exciting for the whole community. So that's it. Let's move on to ward reports. Why don't we start with you tonight, Marty?
How about that? Okay, I'm happy to report that the Friends of the Chestertown Dog Park have raised enough money to, in excess of $7,000 to put the pavilion that the
Wow.
council approved. So I'm
That's
pretty
fantastic.
close to signing the contract to get that done. And that's no cost to the town, that's all donation.
Wow.
In my area, people were very, very happy because we finally got some spring. I think we had a false start a couple of times. I actually mowed my lawn, and I have a push mower that you have to furnish it, and did it with a smile today, just to the fact that I've been able to mow the lawn. And let's see. Oh, I've asked Bob to turn the water on at the dog park, and I think that would probably be taken care of. You had any other communications?
He lapped it up.
The dogs are gonna lap it up too.
Every time I say somebody, he's gotta come back with some kind of a dog park. And for those people who had to work today, the Orioles won 6-2, and they had 3 home runs. So, I took the afternoon off and watched it. That's my report.
Well done, Marty. Sam?
So in front of you is the draft of the marketing committee that I've been talking quite a bit about, and finally it's taking shape. So just because the whole budget process is literally right around the corner, one thing that we may end up having to do is when we introduce or when we adopt the resolution during the next meeting, I'll have my recommendations on who is going to be on the committee, so we can vote on them that same night, because we're gonna have to meet to put together a budget request essentially in time for all of our budget workshops coming up. So we're gonna have to do a lot of things at once at the next council meeting. So I'll go ahead and get the input from, of course, Mike O'Connor with College Relations and Marketing at Washington College has signed off, Bernadette Bowman has signed off, and of course, Francois Sullivan, our web developer as well. So I asked them for recommendations on people within the community who have a lot of marketing experience. So we'll have a list, and we'll also do just a short presentation in terms of where we plan on heading. Just so you have an understanding and idea of what we want to do essentially. I mean, we hope to incorporate a lot of different platforms, so there's going to be a lot of moving parts, but it's going to be very cohesive. Ultimately, the main goal is to really put Chestertown on the map by utilizing some platforms that we've never used before, such as, a couple of websites where you can actually market packages like destination, vacation, weekend, overnight packages, things like that. So we hope to cover a lot of ground, and I'll also have Francois give a presentation on how the new website's going in terms of all the analytics that she's gathering. So we have an idea of where people are actually logging in from. Pennsylvania is actually the second most represented state in terms of just user activity. So that's also going to help guide our marketing efforts. We are going to be very data-driven, so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting having these people up, just showing you and giving you an idea of where we're going to take this marketing commission. But honestly, between this and the collaboration that we're going to have with Kent County Tourism, I think we're already much more progressive than a lot of towns here on the Eastern Shore, simply by having a body whose goal and purpose is to market Chestertown. So stay tuned.
right, good work. Okay, Linda, Ward 2.
The Farmers Market Artisan Group tried to open on the 21st and it snowed, and the 28th and it snowed, and then Saturday, there were a few there, but the wind was so bad that they had to pack up a little early. So I'm hoping April 11th will be a good Saturday. There were more farmers there on Saturday morning. With the business after hours, Jen offered the visitor center. Is that still a go?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is that what it's called, the thing you talked about last time?
Business after hours. Now, it's going to be on April 23rd, and I thought I had written, I think it's 5 to 7.
5 to 7, I
Yeah,
think.
it's 5 to 7.
It's a Thursday.
So I would like to know now who wants to participate.
I am out of town.
I think I can make it, Linda. I may not stay the whole time, but I'll be there at 5.
As far as bringing food.
I told you what I would bring.
Okay, so Liz, myself,
I'll bring something.
April 23rd.
23rd, 5 to 7.
I'll let you know, my calendar is on my refrigerator and I
Must be a
don't.
wing night somewhere. I could go pick up the wings and bring them over.
I mean, if the mayor and council is going to sponsor it, it would be nice.
And it's at the visitor center, not in the lobby.
Right, at the visitor center.
I can be there from like 5 to 6:30.
Yeah.
I have a gig at JR starting in December.
And I have a
Good place
rehearsal.
to go afterwards, you know?
Okay.
I'm making tofu
I will
pig
let
in a
you-
blanket.
Huh?
No, tofu pig in a blanket. I just invented it. Should be great.
Oh, great.
I will, when Loretta gets back to me with how many RSVPs, it'll probably be, hopefully, between 30, 35 people. And then Earth Day is on the 18th, and that's the same day as the Mud Strut, which is April 18th. Just like to let everybody know, on April 25th, Procolinos will be celebrating 35 years in Chestertown.
Who will be?
Procolinos
Yeah,
will
that's
be
incredible.
celebrating 35 years in Chestertown on the 25th of April. And the Taste of the Town is April 26th. All of this is downtown except for Procolinos. And then on May 2nd, the DCA is starting the Porch Fest with music. And then the end of May, Memorial Day weekend, we have the Tea Party Festival. So we have a lot coming up in the next couple of months, and I hope I didn't miss anything.
Well, there's always the next meeting.
Yes, there is.
Okay, Liz.
Well, I hadn't thought of promoting events like that, but I will, since there is one you missed. The fundraiser for the National Music Festival backs right up against the Community Marching Band event. Is from 4 to 6 at the Garfield Center for the Arts on April 25th. And it's a marvelous duo. Camilo Carrara, the classical guitar mentor from Brazil, who's been with us every year, met here at the National Music Festival, Sue Matthews. And they have now recorded a CD together, which they will be debuting at the fundraiser. So that's from 4 to 6, and then you can just cross the street to the marching band fundraiser. I don't have anything else really for more.
Well, the band is practicing on Sundays in town already.
Yep, I heard them the other night.
Exciting. All right. Request from the public to be on the agenda. Carol Neiman, Africa by America Day. Thanks for your patience, Carol.
Step up here, distribute meals. press
Thank you.
release. Let me just get these. Actually, I'll just pass these down.
Okay, I asked to be on the,
There you go. And there should be enough to go around.
okay, this is a new event. We're always told to come up with a new event, so it's sort of my first venture into event planning, a day-long event, and this is the poster for it. It's called Africa by America Day. It's being sponsored by Shrewsbury Church, and it sort of is something that's been germinating for a while. It started with me seeing Din Kendo Band about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and being kind of really mesmerized by them and their enthusiasm and their cultural history from Gambia and Senegal. I went to their CD release, down reading weekend. I snuck away at the 30th and got home at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
And the another person in town went with me, and the event was attended by many cultures, many races, many ethnic backgrounds, and a real diversity of ages, 5 years old up to about 80 years old. It was attended by the ambassador from the United Nations and his family, and the ambassadors and the corps from the DC embassy. They are coming to this event also. So that's kind of exciting. If you look at the, well, that's going to be the press release. This is due to go out by the 15th of April. And what I'm asking from the town, there's 7 events, a mask making at Kids Spot at 10 to 12, a food demonstration at the Chester River Wine and Cheese Shop. Aaron Wesley of the new business Life of Cake, he is going to be demonstrating 3 African foods at the Wine and Cheese Shop. That's the only event. There's a $5 cost. Then there's a children's drum and dance program at the library, a drumming class at Music Life, and at the book plate, Tahir Shad at the college. I met with him. He's a professor. You probably know him, and he lives on my street, I found out. So he is going to host or moderate the talk at the book plate. And right now I have assurances that the people from the DC embassy will be on that panel. So they're going to be awesome to meet with them. Then there's going to be an invitation only, and you will be receiving invitations to the reception at the GAR at 7 o'clock. Then the show is 7:30 to 10:30 at the Garfield Theater. So what I need from the town is permission to put up a signboard at the 213, 291. A sign across High Street the Tuesday after Tea Party. I've been assured by the DC people that they do not need security provided by the town. The United Nations hasn't responded yet, whether they need security or not. They put a call into them. I understand Bill Arrowwood is no longer in the position of recreation director, at least that's what he emailed me. So he told, I'm going to work with Sam in getting this on the town website. Would that be correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, because I'll have the press release, the poster needs 2 edits. They'll be done Monday, so I'll have the press release and poster ready for the 15th of April.
And the itinerary here still says slice of cake. Are you going to make that edit?
No, it's corrected.
It's corrected,
It's
okay.
corrected, yes. That's probably an old one, but
Okay.
it's going to be corrected.
Steve Quigg's name is spelled wrong.
It's Q-U-I-G-G?
It says QQ.
Oh, QQ, okay, good. That just probably those things will get that taken care of.
These are just worksheets.
These are worksheets, okay, it's a work in progress. And the thing I'm most impressed by is Kevin Harris at the GAR, is the artist for this poster. And I feel he did an incredible job. We all do. He worked very hard on it. But he is painting an original on glass that's going to be auctioned in the lobby of the Garfield. And Life of Cake is also providing a big, tall bundt cake, like off a table. And everybody at intermission will get a slice of that, and it's an African recipe. It's kind of sweet potato cake that Aaron Wesley is working on. So, you know, I'm excited about it. It's kind of becoming a big thing.
Yeah, it sounds really exciting. So you just need, like, you want to hang a banner over?
Across at the day after Tea Party, and then, you know, Jay Yerkes is providing a board to paint for the sign. Janet Wilkerson and myself and 2 other people are going to paint that for up at 19.
Where is it you want to put it?
What?
The wooden sign?
Up at where the boards are.
Well, that's the bank up there that controls
That's fine.
that.
The bank controls it, but that,
Who does?
the People's Bank, they manage the
Oh, so I have to
scheduling.
ask them.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's 2 empty spots right now, so.
Well, they go
Okay.
just for the week by week. You have to apply for a week, I think.
I didn't know that.
We don't hang banners across the street anymore due to the power companies not allowing us, but Sam brought this up, the rail crossing on High Street, where the rail trail crosses. There's 2 trestles at ladders that go up. We have full permission to hang banners there.
Where's the rail trail?
Rail at Dixon Valve, where the rail trail crosses that used to stop the buses.
Right.
I think it's really a unique way to do things. A lot of cars go there over a period of a month. It settles the banner issue, but you can also put a banner on a building. You just can't put them
Okay,
across.
okay.
You haven't
So
seen-
the rail trail thing, you'll have to show me where that is.
I can't wait till somebody tries it. I climbed up there to put things over the bus, so the buses could go through there without stopping. It's not a dangerous climb.
Okay. Well, you'll show me and we'll get help.
Yeah, I'll help you up there.
Okay, okay. But,
You'll pass
you
through
know,
the strips.
I will be in touch with you and, you know, get help as needed, so thank you. And I just hope you'll attend.
Great, thanks, Carol. That's really, sounds like a neat event.
One thing. Did you, now granted, the college is going to be out in terms of the students, but
Right.
did you touch base with the Multicultural Center at WC and the Black Studies program as well?
I have a person to call, and it is Hinson, Maria Hinson,
Okay.
at the Alumni House, but I
Right,
haven't gotten, from Professor Schott, I did not get. He did pick up the phone and call Jay Griswold, who said he would try to attend a few
Yeah,
events,
yeah.
but it's Alumni Weekend,
I see.
and of the 30th is Alumni Weekend. But if you give me some names, I will definitely do that.
Good, good. So it's, of course, the students are going to be gone, but in terms of, you know, maybe some programming ideas or things like that, they might be good resources
Right.
to get themselves. So I'll
Well,
forward you
there's
their
Maria
names.
Hinson is supposed to be the person to contact to try to get it on the college website.
Right.
So that people
Okay.
that come to Alumni Weekend might want to come down
Sure,
and attend
sure.
a few events.
And then we'll get it on the Chestertown website for sure.
You and I will talk.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Carol.
Appreciate it.
Okay, are there any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, if not, is there a motion to adjourn the regular?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor? Any opposed?
We
Okay.
have some kind of a meeting afterwards?
Yeah, we have an executive.